Hello, this is Lori Wood, HMIS Coordinated Entry Trainer Analyst with ICDA. Welcome to Reports Training. Today I'd like to go through just a few different reports in the new Client Track 19 system. The navigation has changed with the recent upgrade. So we're going to look at a few different types of reports. To begin with, when signed in to the 2020 HMIS User Workgroup, you will access reports by clicking on the double arrow icon to the right of the Client Track logo at the top of your screen. This will take you to the floating menu where you will see the 4 different workspaces displayed: Home, Clients, Providers, and Reports. Let's navigate to the Reports workspace by clicking on the Reports box. Now we are on the Reports workspace. As you can see in the upper left-hand corner, it does state Reports. This is where most of the reports are now hosted on the Reports workspace. So I'd like to start off with the APR, and you find that by clicking on the HMIS exports and then clicking on the CSV APR FY 2020. Now, I've already ran APR earlier, forgive me, and it is saved on the Files on Server. So to run an APR, you go through the Report Parameters screen, enter the information, the date range, the grant component, the grant program, and you could filter it by program if you'd like to, and then you always want to check Generate Validation File. That is what will allow you to drill down the data when you're looking for missing data or data errors. So remember to check the Generate Validation File. So once you have completed the report parameters, and then you would click Run Export, give the system time to gather the information. You would then click on Files on Server in the upper left-hand corner, and once the report is ready to be viewed, it will appear on this page. So let's take a look at the validation file for the HMIS APR Caper 2020. To download the file, you'll click on that little green arrow, and then you'll need to open. Most of you, if not all of you, will probably receive this warning when it's trying to export the file. Simply click on More Info and then Run Anyway. It's just a protection mechanism. Next, you'll enter the password that you chose when you initially ran the report. You'll click I assume responsibility, and then extract. So now the files are showing on my computer as having been extracted. And in order to zip those files, you would highlight them and right-click and then send to compressed zip folder. And then you can get rid of the other files that are still showing because it's now all contained in the zip file. Yes. All right, so now I'm going to open the zip file, and you see all those questions from the report are saved. Your next step would be to actually open the Excel file and look for your data issues. Now this is pulled in the training environment, so everything you see is fictitious. But here's some data issues and the reasons. So number does not conform. That's probably because we just made up a number. But in order to look up this client, you simply go to the client ID column, find the client ID, say it's 126, and then go back to HMIS, go back to the client Workspace, and search for that client. Then you could pull up the client record and click on Edit Client and then review their information. And you can also make changes in the Edit Client feature. So I'm just going to exit out of this. So that is running the APR and exporting it, zipping it up into a zip file, and then how to go back and look at the data by utilizing either the client name or the client ID, and then going into the Edit Client feature on the client Workspace to make the necessary changes to update that information or correct it. Now I'm going to move back to the Reports Workspace, and we'll look at a couple other features. This is where you would find these different reports. And then under Client Reports, you can pull a current client list, demographics, goals, barriers, and then enrollment reports, clients in program. We've received quite a few help desk tickets asking where the clients in programs report went to. This is where it went to. Under the Reports Workspace, then click on Enrollment Reports, and then click on Clients in Programs. The report is basically the same. You set your report parameters. You can filter by program if you'd like to. And by grant. And you can tell the system if you want the report just to generate heads of households only. Then click Report. And I'm not sure how much information we'll get, not much, because we're in the training environment, remember. But if I want to expand and see more information, I would click on that little box next to my fake org ESR10, and it brings up the client information. Now, if you'd like to export the report, you can click on the little save icon at the top. It has a floppy disk. For those of you that don't know what a floppy disk is, that's what we had way back in the day. And then you can choose Excel data, PDF, Word, Excel. I'll choose PDF. And then I will need to open the PDF. And there you have it. So I'll close this report. And then let's look at a few more. Data Explorer, service summaries. We've also received help desk tickets regarding the service summary report. It is now located on the Reports workspace under Service Reports. Again, you would go in and set your report parameters. And then choose your filters. Program, grant. You can even filter by services. By housing status, state, county, zip code, and whether or not to include only direct services, scheduled services, and so forth. And click on Report, and I don't know if we'll get any information from this since we are in the training database. Well, we didn't, but that's what your report would look like. And again, if there were clients actually on this report, you could click on the little box with a plus sign in it to expand the client information under each type. The exporting is the same. You would click on the little save icon and then choose which one you want to export the information to. All right, moving on down. Other reports, residential move-in date, permanent housing days to move-in report, highest grade completed. Feel free to simply spend some time in the system looking at the different reports that are available. You cannot break the system. And since the navigation is a bit different from what we all were used to, it may take a little while to become familiar with where these reports actually are housed under the different settings. You can also see under HMI exports, this is where the CAPER report is found, the SSVF export, the RHY export. So keep that in mind. Now I'd like to change the work group to coordinated entry, 2020 coordinated entry. And we'll take a quick look at reports in the new 2020 coordinated entry work group. In the coordinated entry work group, there are still only 3 workspaces, just as before the Client Track 19 upgrade. So what that means is when you are logged in to the coordinated entry work group and your respective region under coordinated entry for the organization, your reports are still found on the home workspace. So your HMIS reports show here. The prioritization list can be pulled by clicking on prioritization list. And you are still able to sort the prioritization list by clicking on the little triangles and telling it how you would like it to sort. Then for specific coordinated entry reports, you would click on the home workspace, click on coordinated entry reports, and this is where you can pull the CE length of stay detail report, we'll do from and to, and we'll see if we get any information. Quite a bit. So this tells you the client ID, the name, the enrollment date, their length of stay, their exit date from coordinated entry, their destination if they've exited, the program name, the owning organization, VI SPDAT score, and VI SPDAT date. The same as other reports, you can export to Excel, Excel data, PDF, or Word. The CE length of stay summary report is a great report to look at to get an idea of the percentage of your clients in your region that are having successful exits to permanent housing. So I've set the date range, selected the program, and clicked report. Well, what this report tells me is that I currently have 123 enrollments in my ICDA coordinated entry. I've had 4 exits since this time last year. The average length of stay and for stayers and leavers. Now, this is really out of whack because this is the training database and we don't go through enrollments and exits very often to exit clients. But this tells you that out of the 4 exits, 2 exited to emergency shelter, including hotel or motel paid for with emergency shelter voucher or a RI-funded host home shelter. And then the other two folks exited to permanent housing other than rapid rehousing for formerly homeless persons. So using this report, you can go through and tally up. You could actually export it to Excel and then take out all of the unsuccessful exit destinations, such as back to the street, jail, prison, etc. And then add up the total of permanent housing exits that are successful. They would be successful: rapid rehousing, rental by client, VASH vouchers, and so on and so forth. Take that total and divide it by the total number of active enrollments, and you'll get a percentage of successful exits. Something good to look at occasionally. The next coordinated entry report that I'd like to briefly show is the open coordinated entry enrollments with housing move-in date. So I will select the program and click Report. What this report tells me is Danny Brown was enrolled in coordinated entry 6/14 of 2018. He had a project start date for permanent housing on 8/21 of 2018 with a move-in date to permanent housing of 8/21, 2018. This tells me that Danny has not been exited from coordinated entry. This is a great report to pull periodically to ensure that your clients are being exited from coordinated entry when they are moved in to permanent housing. So that's a brief overview of coordinated entry reports. And again, please remember, when you are logged into the 2020 coordinated entry work group, you will still only have the 3 separate workspaces of clients, home, and providers. The reports for coordinated entry are still located on the home workspace. Well, that concludes a brief overview of the most used reports in HMIS, in both the 2020 HMIS work group and the 2020 coordinated entry work group. As always, if you have questions, feel free to email the help desk for assistance at HMIShelpdesk@ihcda.in.gov. Thank you very much.